Good evening. I am Tashan Tyson in with the Ovia NVD News Package for today, Thursday, 25th April 2019. We will lead stories. Nationally, ECCU launched Electronic Funds Transfer or EFT here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And Ivor Walters Primary School wins Ross University Lab Week 2019 Science Fair. Regionally, dozens missing after Venezuelan boat sinks. Internationally, former U.S. Vice President Joe Biden announces his candidacy for U.S. presidency. And in sports, local inter-high schools basketball tournament begins. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back. Another national news in detail. St. Kitts and Nevis is one of two OECS countries where an electronic funds transfer or EFT has been launched by the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. The other country is Antigua and Barbuda. Electronic funds transfer or EFT is an authorized transmission of funds from or to accounts through the automated clearinghouse. A release from the ECCU states that this does not apply to credit unions. As it relates to Social Security, all benefit payments via direct deposit can only be executed if the insured person or claimant completes an electronic funds transfer form. Only one form must be completed if future benefits will go to that one account. Should you wish to send payments to a different account on a subsequent claim, a new form must be completed. The EFT was launched in an effort to provide bank customers within the ECCU with a faster, more efficient, and more secure payment solution, and to ensure that the ECCU is innovating its payment systems in order to align with international standards. The Ivor Walters Primary School, IWPS, is the winner of the Ross University Lab Week 2019 Science Fair, which was held on April 24th. The annual science fair featured primary schools in the Federation. As the lone entrant from Nevis, the Ivor Walters Primary School placed first in the Renewable Energy category, SDG number 7 of the United Nations Global Goals for Sustainable Development. The representatives of the school were Nevroy Manners of Grade 6 and Light Brown of Grade 5. Their project, Geothermal Energy, under the theme Light Your World with Geothermal, won in the Renewable Energy category. IWPS also placed first overall, beating all the schools present. My Healthy Kidney Initiative. That's the name of a new program the Health Promotion Unit in the Ministry of Health here in Nevis will launch. Senior Health Educator at the unit, Ms. Raynell Daniel, explains.
My Healthy Kidneys program will supplement the My Healthy Plate program in teaching children how to make healthy choices that would prevent these chronic diseases in the future. So we had teaching sessions at the 11 primary schools in March, where a team made up of persons from the Taiwan ICDF and health educators from the Health Promotion Unit went into all the schools and taught children from grade 4, 5, and 6 how to maintain good kidney health. And now, as a follow-up to these sessions, we are launching a My Healthy Kidney jingle competition, where children will put the things that were taught to them in practice in creating a jingle.
Meanwhile, in light of the jingle competition, representative from the International Cooperation Development Fund, ICDF, Fen Tang Sai, said there are two phases for the jingle competition.
During the first phase, we would use online voting platform. So all the participants, we will upload all the videos and audios that we receive from the participant to that platform. And then the deadline is the 9th of May. And so after we receive those videos, we will upload them to that platform, and we will open 10 days for the participant to invite their friends, their families to vote for them, their jingles. And then after the open voting, the top 10 best liked videos will enter to the second phase, where we will invite 5 judges from outside to evaluate these top 10 videos, and then we will find the top 3 winners.
Mr. Fenta Sai. Students of grades 4, 5, and 6 who participated in the health education sessions are eligible to participate. For more information, persons can call the Health Promotion Unit at 469-8010. Children under 5 must spend less time sitting watching screens or restrained in prams and seats, get better quality sleep, and have more time for active play if they are to grow up healthy. That's according to new guidelines issued by the World Health Organization, WHO. The new guidelines on physical activity, sedentary behavior, and sleep for children under 5 years of age were developed by a WHO panel of experts. They assess the effects on young children of inadequate sleep and time spent sitting watching screens or restrained in chairs and prams. They also reviewed evidence around the benefits of increased activity levels. The WHO says applying the recommendations in these guidelines during the first 5 years of life will contribute to children's motor and cognitive development and lifelong health. It says failure to meet current physical activity recommendations is responsible for more than 5 million deaths globally each year across all age groups. It says if healthy physical activity, sedentary behavior, and sleep habits are established early in life, this helps shape habits through childhood, adolescence, and into adulthood. An event dubbed Single Entry will be held at NEPAC this Saturday, April 27th at 8 p.m. The event, which is a Caribbean community, will be hosted by Brata Productions. Brata is a New York City-based nonprofit organization and is the brainchild of founder and executive director, Mr. Andrew Clark. In an interview with the VUN Newsline, Mr. Clark explained how the idea came about.
I came to Nevis late last year and reconnected with Deslin and from NEPAC, and I told her about this production that I was doing in New York. At the time, the reason I mounted the production, part of Brata's mission is about preservation and showcasing of Caribbean culture and really celebrating that in the diaspora. And with all that's happening in the US, there's so much conversation around immigration and immigrants and being documented and undocumented. I thought this was the perfect production.
Moreover, he provided some more insight about the comedy.
It's about 2 Jamaican women that leave the inner city, and they are hell-bent on leaving Jamaica by any means necessary. So they get a one-entry visa, or a single-entry visa, as they call it oftentimes, to the U.S., and they decide they're going to make their way as best as they can. So they are in America essentially undocumented and trying to survive. So that makes for an interesting story. So it's set both in Jamaica and in New York.
Tickets pre-sold are $65 and at the gate is $70. Tickets can be purchased at the City Drugstore Nevis Limited in Charlestown. The People's Action Movement, PAM, held its 54th Annual Delegates Convention Caucus on Wednesday, 24th April 2019 at the PAM headquarters. At this caucus, delegates from all 8 constituencies discussed the party business and subsequently voted to elect the 2019-2020 executive body that will govern the affairs of the party for 1 year. All posts were up for election with the exception of the party leader, the Honorable Sean Richards, who will retain his position as leader for another 2 years. The new executive-elect is The Honorable Sean Richards, Party Leader, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, Deputy Leader, the Honorable Lindsay Grant, Deputy Leader, H.C. General Powell, Chairman unopposed, Jacqueline Howell, Deputy Chair, Shelley Julius, General Secretary, Azad Gums, Assistant General Secretary, Charles Morton, Treasurer unopposed, and Janelle Wallins, Public Relations Officer unopposed. The executive-elect will be ratified on Sunday, 28 April 2019, at the annual National Convention to be held at the PAM headquarters starting at 3 p.m. The convention will be held under the theme Winning More Convention 54. The keynote speaker will be Premier of the BVI, Andrew Foy. And finally, 2 persons have been hospitalized following a traffic accident which occurred on the Island Main Road on St. Kitts in the vicinity of Ross University. The accident took place on Sunday, 21st April at about 11:15 a.m. Reports are that it involved motor omnibus H30, which is owned and was driven by Jared Saunders of Lamberts, and motor car R135 owned by Thrifty Car Rentals and driven by Sasha Egiter of Switzerland. At the time of the incident, the omnibus was transporting 8 passengers and the rental was transporting 2 passengers. Circumstances are that both vehicles were traveling in opposite directions, with H30 heading west to east along the main road and R135 heading east to west. When they got in the vicinity of the Ross University and the parking lot on the mountain side of the road, the driver of R135 made a right turn to go into a road and collided with H30 in the center of the main road. The 2 passengers who were in R135 were taken to JNF General Hospital via ambulance for medical attention. One sustained injuries to his left hip and head, and the other sustained injuries to the neck and head. They remain warded at the hospital in stable condition. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. That's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on Facebook at Von Radio or our Von Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. News from across the region is next.
Ladies and gentlemen, this here's another one for the steppers.
Swipe to win big in 2019. That's right, the Bank of Nevis Limited is once again giving you, our valued customers, a chance to win big. Just swipe or use your Bond Visa credit card for US $100 for a chance to win a cruise for 2, an iPhone XS, or a grocery dash at Best Buy Supermarket.
Say what?
Sign up for a Bond Visa credit card and automatically be entered for a chance to win. This offer ends August 31st, 2019. So tell your friends and family, just swipe to win big with the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram.
Welcome back. Another regional news in detail. Dozens of Venezuelans were missing after a boat en route to the island of Trinidad sunk in the Caribbean Sea, authorities said today. An official from the country's Civil Protection Agency said a team is searching for those who may have drowned after the Yonali Jose boat sank in rough seas on its way to the island early Wednesday. The missing boat overturned in strong waves near the island of Patos, roughly 5 miles off the Venezuelan coast. 7 security force vessels were searching the waters for the missing, the official from the Civil Protection Agency said. Local outlet Noticiero Digital said that 35 people were aboard the ship and at least 8 people have been rescued. It cited officials from the Navy of Trinidad and Tobago and said that the boat had left the port of Las Salinas in the Venezuelan state of Sucre on April 23rd. It reported that 22 of the migrants were women and the boat's captain, Francisco Martinez, was among those rescued. Out of Guyana. The International Air Transport Association, IATA, is calling for urgent talks with management of the Chedijagan International Airport, CJIA, over the calculation and collection of new and increased airport fees. In a statement issued on Tuesday, IATA, a trade association with membership of nearly airlines representing 117 countries, called for immediate dialogue on the implementation process related to the increase in the government-mandated airport security fee and the introduction of a new passenger service charge at Guyana's main airport. The fees, which authorities say are to support improvements at the airport, represent an increase in security fees and the introduction of a passenger service charge. The cost to travelers for a round trip is $35. For departing passengers, it is $17, and for one-way departing passengers, it is $15, payable in Guyana dollars at the prevailing foreign exchange rate. But IATA said the airport's continued refusal to cooperate with IATA on both the proper calculation and implementation of such fees and charges has now led to a situation where airlines have been forced to manually collect the additional amounts from both arriving and departing passengers. Still in Guyana. President David Granger is back in Guyana after successfully completing radiotherapy treatment for cancer in Cuba, but he has been advised to avoid a heavy workload. Guyana's ambassador to Cuba, Halim Majid, issued a statement over the weekend giving an update on Granger, who is suffering from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and had previously undergone several rounds of chemotherapy in Cuba. President Granger is expected to continue a schedule of medication prescribed by his doctors and, according to Majid, is expected to return to Cuba at a time to be determined by his Cuban medical team. President Granger expressed his gratitude to Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel, First Secretary of the Communist Party of Cuba, Raul Castro, First Vice President of Cuba, Salvador Valdez Mesa, Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez Parilla, Cuban Ambassador in Guyana, Narcisco Rinaldo Socorro, the medical team at CIMEQ, the Havana Hospital where he received treatment, the Caribbean Community CARICOM caucus in Cuba, and the many colleagues, friends, and well-wishers who have extended best wishes for his full recovery and have prayed for his return to good health and physical well-being. And finally, out of Haiti. Some 3.6 million Haitians, or 700,000 families, are affected by food insecurity, including 1.5 million who are in a serious situation, according to a report from the government. The study, carried out every year by the National Food Security Coordinator, CNSA, noted that the most vulnerable households are using negative survival strategies. Over the past 3 years, a severe drought has affected Haiti, thus damaging crops that represent more than 60% of the country's annual production, so the prospects of households to recover from the crisis are limited, the report added. At present, nearly 30% of the rural population in Haiti is affected by food insecurity, and some 275,000 children, or 22% of the child population, are chronically undernourished. That's it for Regional Stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. After months of speculation, the former U.S. Vice President Joe Biden has confirmed that he'll seek to run as a Democrats' candidate in next year's election against Donald Trump. In a video posted on Twitter, he said there was a battle for the soul of the nation. Mr. Biden, who is 76, recently apologized after being accused for invading the personal space of women. The BBC's Gary O'Donoghue reports from Washington.
Delivered straight to camera, wearing an open-neck shirt with a Stars and Stripes lapel pin, Joe Biden kicks off his campaign launch video by quoting from the Declaration of Independence, attacking the president over his failure to condemn white supremacists during riots in 2017. He describes the current presidency as an aberrant moment in time, warning that if Donald Trump gets another term, he will fundamentally alter the character of the nation.
Amnesty International has said that more than 1,600 civilians were killed by the U.S.-led bombing campaign on the Syrian city of Raqqa, 10 times as many as the coalition has acknowledged. Its forces have said they took great care to avoid civilian casualties. The BBC's Jonathan Bale reports.
Amnesty International, which carried out this investigation alongside the London-based monitoring organisation Airwars, says they've carried out the most comprehensive assessment of the 4-month bombing campaign on Raqqa. It involved interviewing hundreds of witnesses and survivors on the ground and analysing thousands of satellite images. Amnesty says almost 80% of the city was left uninhabitable in the offensive to take the city from IS. It describes many of the air and artillery strikes as inaccurate to the point of being indiscriminate.
Singer R. Kelly has lost a civil court case by default after failing to respond to a legal case brought by a woman who accused him of sexual abuse. He failed to turn up at a court in Chicago, leading a judge to pass a ruling against him. The woman, identified only as H.W., accused Kelly of repeatedly having sex with her when she was a minor. She is also one of 4 accusers in a separate criminal case. He has pleaded not guilty and denied any wrongdoing. In her civil lawsuit, H.W. claimed the R&B singer initiated a sexual relationship with her 20 years ago when she was 16. The age of consent in Illinois is 17. The judge will determine how much Kelly should pay in damages next month. The victim sued the singer in February, a day before Kelly was arrested on 10 charges of sexual abuse. Lawyer Steve Greenberg, who is representing Kelly in the criminal case, said he was not involved in the civil litigation and declined to comment. And finally, former Nissan boss Carlos Ghosn has left his Tokyo jail with conditions attached. Earlier, a court set bail at 5 million yen, paving the way for this latest release. Mr. Ghosn faces 4 charges in Japan over allegations of financial misconduct, which he denies. It is the second time he has been bailed. The 65-year-old was initially freed last month, then rearrested on 4th April on a fresh charge. His lawyer says the court's bail conditions, including banning Mr. Ghosn from meeting or communicating with his wife without prior permission, and having his other movements and communications closely monitored and restricted. Later on Thursday, Mr. Ghosn released a statement. I am grateful that bail has been granted and thankful for my family and supporters in Japan and around the world who fought for my release. That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Most of us spend the better part of each weekday at the workplace. So why not make your office environment the kind of setting that helps you function at your personal best by outfitting it with top quality furniture, high-end photocopiers, printers, versatile office supplies, and the latest technology. The friendly and knowledgeable staff at the TDC Business Center are happy to provide you with personalized service to help you create an office space that's the total package. TDC Business Center, providing solutions that work.
Welcome back on Other Sports in Detail. In local sports, the annual Inter-High Schools Basketball Championship began today, Thursday, April 25th. The teams assembled at the Old Manor Basketball Court in Gingerland for the 2 p.m. commencement of the opening ceremony. Among those who spoke at the ceremony were the Honorable Troy Liburd, Minister of Education, and the Honorable Eric Evelyn, Minister of Social Development. The tournament will also feature for the first time the Nevis International Secondary School. Matches will be played on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, commencing at 3 p.m., and the venues will be altered between the Old Manor Court and the Charlestown Court. In cricket, India batsman Ajinkya Rahane will join Hampshire as their overseas player from the middle of May until early July. The right-hander is set to be available for 8 county championship matches subject to visa clearance. Rahane, 30, will replace batsman Aidan McGrath, who is to join South Africa's World Cup squad. India vice-captain Rahane will be Hampshire's first overseas player from the country and is expected to make his debut against Warwickshire at Edgbaston from 14th May. Rahane has been playing for Rajasthan Royals in this year's India Premier League, but was replaced as captain by Australia's Steve Smith. In IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders went up against the Rajasthan Royals today, April 25th. Scores were Knight Riders 175 for 6, Rajasthan Royals 177 for 7. Royals won by 3 wickets with 4 balls remaining. Still in cricket, the United States cricket team earned one-day international status for the first time in their 54-year history after ensuring a top 4 finish in the International Cricket Council's World Cricket League Division 2. The USA beat Hong Kong qualifiers for the last 2 World T20 competitions by 84 runs in Windhoek, Namibia. Xavier Marshall, who played 7 tests for West Indies before switching allegiance, hit a century for USA, who became one of 20 nations to hold ODI status. The USA's only previous experience of playing top-level international cricket came in the 2004 Champions Trophy, but they are now able to qualify for the 2023 World Cup in India. They will play in a 7-team league consisting of Scotland, United Arab Emirates, Nepal, Oman, plus 2 others over the next 3 years, with the top 3 progressing to a final qualifier tournament in 2022. That's it for sports. The general weather forecast is next. Welcome back, and now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. There will be mainly fair to cool conditions tonight. Tomorrow, there will be partly sunny skies in general with a 20% or slight chance of a brief shower. Winds are east to northeast at 15 to 28 kilometers per hour or 8 to 15 knots with lighter spells overnight. Seas are 1 to 1.5 meters or 3 to 5 feet. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:49 a.m. And that's her wrap up the major news package for today, Thursday, 25th April 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, ECCU launched Electronic Funds Transfer or EFT here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And Ivor Waters Primary School wins Ross University Lab Week 2019 Science Fair. Regionally, dozens missing after Venezuelan boat sinks. Internationally, former U.S. Vice President Joe Biden announces his candidacy for U.S. President. And in sports, local inter-high schools basketball tournament begins. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashan Tyson, wishing you a pleasant evening.